of Hallmark. I'm Kristen.
I'm Aya.
And this is our final episode in the Christmas in July series.
Yes.
That is so good. We are reviewing Netflix's Falling for Christmas. We are
Yes.
so excited.
Yeah.
This is the first Netflix Christmas movie we have reviewed because
For
it's
the
not
year.
Hallmark.
No.
But we wanted to see how Hallmark kind of influenced all of these streaming services to create their own. So we've done Stan Originals this season. We've done
Oh, is this our first Netflix original?
all together.
Oh, wow. I swear we would have done one by now.
No.
That's stunning.
This is our 15th episode. We thought we'd get crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Introduce Netflix into the mix.
Yeah. You're welcome, Netflix.
Yeah.
Not something that usually comes from my mouth.
Yeah. You know what? So Netflix, you don't need to pay us. You should, but it's fine.
I'm pretty certain that most people would have seen this movie, but I've made assumptions before, so maybe we should just give them the plot of this movie, just in case.
So it came out last year. Big news because it was kind of like the resurrection of Lindsay Lohan's career.
She's back.
She's back. So IMDb says, in the days leading up to Christmas, a young and newly engaged heiress experiences a skiing accident. After being diagnosed with amnesia, she finds herself in the care of a handsome lodge owner and his daughter.
And his mother-in-law.
And his mother-in-law. That's basically it. She's we get the vibe. She's a spoiled heiress. She has this weird boyfriend, and he proposes, and while they're skiing or something, she falls off a cliff.
Yes.
Basically, gets amnesia. Hottie lodge owner finds her. She has amnesia. The rest of the movie is basically her trying to figure out who she is while staying at his lodge, and
They fall in love.
and like subplot as per Hallmark movies. There's a business to save. It's to save the lodge. Then eventually her dad finds her. Everyone knows who she is. And then she basically breaks up with the fiance, ends up with him.
Yeah,
His
with the lodge
business
owner.
thrives.
Yeah.
The lodge owner man's business thrives because she plugs it basically on
a news coverage thing.
What is it, like a conference?
Yeah, to say, I'm back. I'm
Press
not missing
conference.
anymore, even though apparently nobody knew she was missing to begin
That
with.
is the biggest thing for me in this movie.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
The first thing I noticed is, one, we're using real Christmas carols.
They had Bouger.
Boucher.
Yeah, Bouger.
It was so good.
Yeah.
But also the budget, just the difference in budget, and not necessarily better decoration wise, because the hotel decorations were still quite like ugh.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it
You
is
could
about
just
it. The
tell
shots,
more.
the cars, the costuming,
Yeah.
the Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, you could
Mess up
tell
it all.
that more money was thrown into this. And like, to your point, there was a lot of green screen.
So much green
But
screen.
like, the green screen was great.
It wasn't
Green screen.
poor, what's it? Not dimensions. Perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This movie opens with us meeting Lindsay Lohan. She wakes up and goes into her fabulous life.
This montage cracked me up because she's fed food.
Yes.
She's told, like, I guess, like,
done
her
her nails
itinerary
are
of the
done.
day.
Yeah.
The part that killed me, the beauty blender,
Yes.
the makeup artist tapping it on her face, nowhere near her face.
No.
And you're just like, mate,
No.
just fake it. Touch her face. Maybe there was a rule.
Maybe there was a rule.
She wasn't allowed to touch her face. I don't
Maybe
know.
because they didn't want to ruin the actual makeup she already had on.
Yeah.
By blending it further.
Yeah.
Ugh,
With a
gross.
dry beauty blender. Like, that's really gonna... Whatever.
Yeah. You get kind of vibes of, what is that movie? Just My Luck.
Oh, yes.
You get
Which
Lindsay
is Lindsay
Lohan
Lohan.
in Just My Luck vibes from her acting at the beginning of this film.
Yeah.
And it does go, I'm not going to lie to you, for me, Lindsay did a great job because she's come back after many years, but there were moments where you're like, did you read the script before you went on set? Or is this
Yeah.
the first time you're seeing
There
it?
was
But only moments.
I agree. That was one of the other big things for me, is that I was like, oh, her acting's pretty good for someone who hasn't done it for a while, who has gone through a lot. But then there were parts where you're like, you are just reading it.
There's like no emotion.
There's
or
nothing
thought
happening.
behind it.
Absolutely nothing happening.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing also. I didn't write it down, or maybe I did. Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
And it's because it's brought up at the beginning because she basically is going to start working for her dad.
Yes.
And she also wants to build up a following on social media. But because she's never really had a job and she's always relied on her dad and she's an heiress, blah, blah, blah. He creates a role for her. Vice President of Atmosphere.
Yeah.
I would love that job.
To her credit, she's like, he's made it up.
Yeah.
Like, she does say that out loud.
She does.
What would you do as the Vice President of Atmosphere?
But what are you atmosphering, like the hotels?
The hotel vibe.
Oh, it would be vibes. It would be like, it'd be like a DJ in the foyer. It would be just making sure like the fireplace is lit. I don't know, making sure we have supplies.
No, there was a hotel that we were in when we stayed in New York over Christmas,
Right.
and they pumped cinnamon through the vents. That is the Vice President of Atmosphere.
There was a place that I stayed in Hawaii. Wow, we're just like
That's so
dropping
trouble.
how.
Oh,
like,
sorry
we're so
guys, that's
cultured.
awful.
That a bookcase, a hidden bookcase, turned into a bar
There
behind
you go. Vice President of Atmosphere.
An atmosphere, a hidden bookcase,
Bookcase.
bookcase bar.
Yeah.
That is what the vice president,
Bam.
but also not president.
No, Vice President.
Is a vice? Are they all? Yeah, I guess the roles are
Everyone
always
under
vice
the
president.
president of the hotel chain is
Are
always
always
a
vice president.
It's like principal and vice principal.
True. Okay. Sure. So is there? Are we? So that means the president is the main president of Atmosphere.
No, Dad is president of the company.
Yeah, but he controls the atmosphere while doing that.
Maybe Atmosphere is part of his role and he's just tired of it. You know, he's got skiing to do and business meetings to attend.
Sorry, it absolutely killed me, the vice president of Atmosphere. I'm just going to say that's what I do.
Vice President of Atmosphere. I think you should go into work and be like, thank you so much for my new position as Vice President of Atmosphere. And see what
I'm going to
your
add it
boss
to
says.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
You
Anyway.
heard it here first, guys. ASU title. She is the Vice President of Atmosphere here on the podcast.
Yeah.
So that's what.
The vice president of Atmosphere and Vibes. Because they're a bit different.
Vibes with a Z?
I mean, it sounds like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Does. It's almost as legitimate as Vice President of Atmosphere.
Yeah.
So we do get a lot of Hallmark movie tropes in this movie. We get the douchebag boyfriend who is the actual worst. Ugh, he's so gross. He is an influencer. That is his job.
Yeah.
Because that is an option now.
It is.
But he's the worst kind.
He's so self-absorbed and just such I don't know if I'm... Okay, I'll just say douche. A bit of a douche.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say douche, but
Big
it's what I
time.
said.
Oh, let's turn that off. Sorry, team. Just getting messages through my laptop.
That's stunning.
Because my phone's on airplane mode. Yeah, that is... I think he is. He's my least favorite part of this film. Everything else I can go with.
He's in it a lot,
and he's in it
too.
a lot.
Like,
and there's a whole subplot with him, and it just
because after she falls off the cliff, a big chunk of ice breaks, and so then he's lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're jumping ahead a bit.
Yeah. Cord Overstreet from Glee.
Yes.
Looks quite young, particularly to be a father of what I'm assuming is a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, his acting was good though.
His acting was great.
Yeah.
I had to say, Lindsay acts young. She looks a lot older than Cord, but like,
yes,
I think on par with. Again, she has kind of reverted back to her Just My Luck Confessions of it was a Confession of a Shopaholic, or was that
no Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen.
Yes, Confession of a Teenage Drama Queen. That's kind of the vibe of her acting style in this movie.
Yeah.
What did the smallest spill, the meet cute.
Oh, the meet cute. Yeah.
I was like, what have you written? So Cord Overstreet's character Jake runs a lodge that needs saving. He can't pay the bills. Most people are going to this big hotel that Lindsay Sierra, her character's name is, her dad runs.
Yep.
And he finds that families will come back every year at Christmas, but he doesn't really have the capacity to keep it all year round going. And he would like to change things, and he needs money to add things and make things a little bit easier business wise.
Yep.
He has raced her dad down the ski mountain.
The fastest race I've ever seen.
If if he was to win, he could have had a meeting with him, but unfortunately Cord let him win because that's the respectful thing to do, which gets him some time with Lindsay's dad.
Yeah.
After this meeting, he's walking into the foyer. Lindsay Lohan's coming down in her red what's the designer name that she says like 27 times?
It wasn't one that I've ever heard of before. It must be made up. I don't know.
And it's made a big deal that this is what she's wearing. She said it in her hotel room. She said it 3 times getting out of the elevator. Her partner has said it on the phone.
Yeah.
And she said it on the phone. And then Cord Overstreet, holding a hot chocolate, runs into Lindsay Lohan and spills hot chocolate. I would say all down her front, but it's literally just like a dollop of foam is on her jumpsuit.
Yeah. No, they couldn't commit to the
full thing.
Yeah.
And she loses it. How dare you? He's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that. I didn't mean. And he obviously is dodging things along the way. And
because he doesn't look at her once at all.
And then douchebag boyfriend comes in and is like, oh my goodness, how could you let me clean it? He makes it worse. And so their meet cute is actually, I guess, a meet ugly.
It's a meet ugly, but also like they don't really meet because they don't even like...
They don't acknowledge each other. They don't introduce themselves to each other.
No, he clearly, like I said, doesn't even look at her because later on he doesn't recognize her at all.
She is wearing sunglasses and a hat in this voice, so maybe that threw him off a little bit, but she is also the only redhead in this movie, so...
I feel like we've learned from movies like A Cinderella Story, a stupid little mask it's not a disguise, so sunglasses really shouldn't throw you off.
No, but I guess she also was having a go at him and he wasn't really registering, and he was like, I'll pay for it, let me dry clean it, let me buy you a new one, and she's like, you couldn't afford this. So yes. Do you have any notes before I go into it?
I mean I have the most shocking statement I've ever said in my life. I thought the kid actor was pretty good.
She was really good.
She was pretty...
And she's really cute.
She was really sweet and just like... It was like I could watch it.
Cord Overstreet and the child actor, who I don't have a name for, also seem to have quite a nice... like genuinely nice relationship.
Yeah.
There's a scene later on where they're about to hold a party on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And he comes over and she's like, can I open this? He's like, not yet. And then he walks away and he looks back to be like, don't you think about it. And she's like tiptoeing behind him and they just have this moment that is like, that seemed genuinely like their relationship off.
But it's helpful when the acting is good. I mean, he was
good.
Mostly he was good, but like she was pretty good too.
Wow.
I know.
I didn't think that was ever going to happen.
See, I don't hate kids.
My thing just before we get introduced to the daughter is that there's a guy on a snowmobile outside of the lodge. And he's like, hey Jake, where do you want me to put this? And he's like, just put it out the back or I can do it later. And he's like, okay. He's very attractive and we never see him again. He has that one line and then disappears for the rest of the movie.
Netflix were like, that's enough for you, mate.
We never see him again. And I'm really sad about it. But that's okay because Cord Overstreet's also very attractive.
Yeah.
And that was fine. And he wears flannel and it's good. It's great.
He wears that flannel.
I really loved Lizzie's pink ski outfit.
Stunning. I would wear that too, to be honest. Yeah. I would love to go skiing in that.
Full hot pink from head to toe.
Absolutely.
It was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
I don't have another note until amnesia hits.
I mean, I guess the main, it was a nod to Mean Girls when she started singing Jingle Bell Rock, and like, yeah, okay, Lindsay, we get it. You were in Mean Girls, we get it. You can sing, blah, blah, blah. We get it. So yeah, that's the only note I have about that.
Yeah, and the douchebag boyfriend does douchebag boyfriendy things, and he's proposing to her on this mountain, and he's too busy. Like, the whole thing is just very not it.
Yeah. And
she doesn't want to say yes.
No.
I don't think she wants to date him from the beginning. We don't really know why she's dating him. There's a comment before when she's getting ready in the very first scene, and she goes, he goes, I have to take a selfie in a limo, hangs up on her as she's saying, okay, I love you, and gets cut off. And the makeup artist, who's not touching her face with a beauty blender, goes, oh, was it a bad connection? And she goes, something like that. As in, like, a love connection, not just a phone connection. So from the beginning, we know that she's not totally sold, but we have no idea why she continues.
Yeah, and it's even, like, on the way to where he proposes, it's the Jingle Bell Rock, and he changes the song. And she's, like, looks out sad out the car.
But again,
window.
Another Hallmark trope of a girl being with a douchebag boyfriend just for the sake of being with someone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So not really that surprising. Yeah. She wakes up after her amnesia in the lodge. Yeah. And the TV goes on automatically and we hear the bump of Netflix come up, and it's the Brooke Shields movie.
Christmas in the Highlands? No, Highland Castle.
Yeah,
A Castle for Christmas.
And I hate that we didn't have to Google that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Brooke Shields was in a Hallmark-like movie? What?
And they have done that previously in Princess Switch, A Christmas Prince. We've seen other Netflix Christmas movies.
You don't see that in Hallmark at all. They're not cross-promoting one bit, but they definitely do it in Netflix.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then she opens her curtains to people directly outside her window.
Yeah.
I find that strange.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how this lodge is configured and how it was built, but also, if I saw someone open their window, I wouldn't go, hello, Merry Christmas. I would just be like, okay.
It is wild that she's even at the lodge to begin with.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, firstly, her amnesia is quite selective. We talked about this in Love Strikes Twice.
Yeah.
Her amnesia is quite selective. Again, I don't know how amnesia works.
Yeah.
She remembers that she doesn't like bacon. She remembers that she doesn't clean up after herself.
She remembers that she has this, like, heiress style, like, her personality
is still an heiress.
It's still like, I don't do this, this, and this. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
So... And, like, but no one goes, how do you not know how to do all these things? Yeah. Like, do people just assume it's, like,
I don't know.
Amnesia? That's...
Why?
I don't know how amnesia works.
I don't know how amnesia works. But also the fact that, I think we were talking about this off air, in that she's meant to be an heiress of the guy who owns most of the hotels in, I'm assuming we're in Aspen. That's where I'm assuming
Aspen.
Where
I wrote Aspen.
And not a single person is like, hey, you're Sierra.
Yeah.
What are you doing here in this lodge?
Particularly, you know, if it is somewhere like Aspen, it's not like it's not New York. No. Like, it's small enough that you would know. And if she's there all the time and everyone knows who the father is. And, like, later on in the movie, she's going into the town centre. Not a single person.
And also the hotel staff don't seem to realize that she's missing.
Yeah, they don't. They realize she's not there, but she had said to them, like, don't bother me.
Yes.
And so they don't bother her at all, and it's like 4 days later.
Yeah. And then Dad comes in. Oh, we're jumping ahead again. Yeah. Dad comes in, opens the wardrobe, and it's like, none of her stuff is missing.
Yeah.
Her suitcase is still here. She obviously hasn't gone anywhere. Oh, what the bleep are you doing? He doesn't actually say that in the movie, but, like, that's the sentiment.
Yeah. But, like, why didn't they... I guess maybe because they didn't realize that she was missing. But I don't know. If it's been, like... it's obviously 4 days, at least. Wouldn't you contact anyone? Yeah. Anyone. The police. Like, walk around town, try and find her.
I would hope that if I'm missing for 4 days, someone would call.
But that's a thing that she says a lot, though, as well. Like, I can't believe, like, no one's looking for me. I can't believe no one's, like, asked for me. Like... What
Dad is on a business trip, so I think if he had been there from the beginning, obviously things would be different.
He acts he's not like a dickhead dad.
No, he's a really nice dad.
He's a really nice dad, and he really cares about it. Look, he created the vice president of atmosphere for her. So, like, he cares, but no one else does, apparently. No. So I do believe he would have done something straight away.
Yeah, I do feel sorry for her.
I do too.
Going back to a previous episode, I think it was the 3rd episode of the Christmas in July series, is we were talking about how it's always a male widower. It's very often a male widow.
Yes.
And that is the case in this movie. Cordova Street is another single dad because his wife has passed away.
We added that as a trope, didn't we?
We did. Again, another trope.
Yeah.
It's this. I feel like these Netflix movies are probably even more tropey than the most recent Hallmark movies.
Yeah, they really lean into it for sure.
Which is interesting because Hallmark's kind of moving away from it, whereas now they've set up such a framework.
Yeah.
That everyone, Stan originals are the same, Netflix originals.
I think that may be why Netflix is probably still holding on to it. It's just because of the accessibility of Netflix. I think it's global, and you know, we struggle to get access to Hallmark movies. So if they can capture an audience, like the people who would be watching something like this, like a Netflix original, they wouldn't have really watched a lot of Hallmark movies.
No.
So
yeah, and we have found that even the people in our own circle that are like, we like watching all your stuff on socials, but we're not going to listen to an episode because we don't watch Hallmark movies. Yeah, you're like, oh, you should listen to an episode anyway,
and you should watch the Hallmark movie too.
And you should watch the Hallmark movie. I really like Cordova Street.
Me too.
He's very sweet, but he does pause in strange places in the middle of sentences.
Does he?
And I didn't start noticing it until about halfway through the movie.
Right.
Where I'm like, there's no punctuation in this sentence. Why are you pausing? Which is a very nitpicky thing. Like, honestly, I have no notes for this movie, really.
That's what I think where we're at is we're nitpicking because, again, I don't think this was a bad movie at all. Like, there are just things that you're like, oh, why did you do it like that? Or why did you make that a plot point? Like, it's just really, well, I guess we nitpick every movie.
We have to. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very, and he he's a very impressive gift wrapper with only using 3 pieces of tape.
Wow, that's a skill.
It's a skill. I don't know how he does it. He doesn't actually wrap presents, that's why. It's all set up.
Yeah. If you want to talk about nitpicking, I mean, I've been waiting to talk about this. Magical. There's a magical Santa in this. He pops up all the time.
Yes. Another trope.
And his teeth, they were popping. Those veneers, baby, they were.
Yeah, they were bright.
Sparkly white. They were like veneering. Those veneers were veneering. So every time I was just like, I can't even concentrate, mate. You were smiling and just like, eh. Do you know what? When this movie came out, I definitely made a meme, posted a meme on Instagram stories.
We'll have to
about
find
the teeth. Oh, I'll find it. Yeah. Oh, actually, I don't even think it was a meme. I think I just said it was when it had just come out. Everyone was watching it.
Yeah,
and I think that was one of the only things I shared about it is the Santa's teeth. So we haven't grown up much since the end of 2022.
Jake Cord's character does 2 things that are very interesting, but I feel like are in complete juxtaposition to each other. And the first one is there goes to be a mid-movie kiss, and he stops it to be like, hey, I would feel bad if it turned out that you were with somebody. Like, you don't remember who you are, and I don't want to start something with you in case this hurts somebody else. And I'm like, whoa! Nice. Okay. Yeah. Sad because you obviously want to have something. You feel something for her, and she feels something about you. But that is the reality, I guess, of the situation. Is that she could be married. We don't know. He doesn't. Well, we know, but he doesn't know. But then, just before she finds out who she is at this Christmas party, he says, there are so many memories here, and I don't think I'm ready to make new memories, even with someone like you. Now, I think it's meant to be sweet in that, like, I have feelings for you. I'm excited about the potential of you. But it comes across a little harsh in that it's like, well, even with someone like you, it just, I know that it's because he likes her and he doesn't, it's more that, like, I can't even make memories with you, and that is sad. But it's just that, even with somebody like you, the wording of it just was a bit like weird.
It's a bit weird.
Again, nitpicky. So nitpicky.
But it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Cheers. Sorry. Drinking Prosecco. I was talking.
Well, it's a 2-episode recording day.
Yeah,
You have got to get through somehow.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry. Can I just say the other nitpicking thing?
Yes.
And it's kind of backtracking, but it's throughout the whole movie. Okay, so she doesn't have any clothes with her.
Yes.
She goes back to the lodge in scrubs.
Yes.
And, you know, she's there multiple days. She's even there for a Christmas Eve party.
Yeah.
There is something that fits her for every day. Shoes,
Perfectly.
pants.
Yeah.
Like, what is she doing with her underwear? And then she wears this, like, red dress. Are you wearing Spanx? Like...
The red dress, I've got a note about the red dress. I don't like
the red dress.
One, I don't like it, but two, again, it's summer clothes in winter.
It's very, and then the gold.
And then
did you write the gold?
I said, don't put the jacket on. It's
the gold jacket. And then I think we're meant to be like, oh, that's the only stuff in lost property or whatever. But
it was this. It's like a red really suits her, I guess. Like it's just this like spaghetti strap scallop dress with. Then a oversized sequined gold
the jacket. Yeah, was not a vibe.
And then her hair was, I don't know, it just wasn't, it was yuck.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, everything she was wearing before that was fine. But I'm really over the summer clothes in winter.
Yeah.
She also takes a photo of the fam for the poster of them. And she one has the phone on an angle, and two has the family like halfway in the frame with the top half of the frame just being a window, and then we see the poster later, and it's this beautiful full body shot, and I was like, okay, what a terribly framed photo that you've turned into a spectacular professional photo, Lindsay. Well done, good job. They have this last minute Christmas party. The people that have loved the lodge have stayed at the lodge, saved the lodge by putting a bunch of donations into a basket.
Yeah.
But the trope, again, we should probably add this trope to the list of like, oh, I can't talk in public. I'm really scared of it. And then is amazing at talking in public.
Yeah, that's true.
And then halfway through his speech, this is Jake, Court Street's character. Halfway through, he's like, no, I can't do it. And I'm like, you've been doing it.
You've been doing it, mate.
You've been doing it.
But also, when you're in like a customer facing kind of role, you are talking in public and to randoms all the time. Just because there's a few extra people in the room.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever.
Anyway, do you have any other nitpicky?
Other notes? No, I think, I mean, there's that I'm not going to bring that one up. It's very nitpicky. I will. So I've got 2 notes. So she ruins the washing machine by pouring too much detergent in there. He gets a bit annoyed and she kind of sulks off.
Yeah.
And then next frame, she's walking outside. So we assume it's immediately after. Like she's gone and grabbed the coat and walking after. She walks to the horse stables. Starts talking to the horse, and we're like, cool. And then she walks off, and then the camera pans to him in the stable with the horse. I'm like, but how did you get there? Where did you come from?
There's a lot of fancy magic things happening.
Magical Santa with the teeth, this frame. And then the other thing I will say is, you know, good on him, good on Jake. He like takes in this random woman, feeds her, lets her stay for free, gives her clothes, buys her the globe, the snow globe. What a nice guy.
Yeah, he was a very nice guy.
And obviously she ends up with him.
struggling business owner. Which again, another trope.
Very charitable.
Yeah.
For a struggling business owner. Yeah, I thought it was just really nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
How many Christmas trees were there in this?
Oh, yeah, and by the way, they end up together. We've already said that, right? Is that what we have to say?
Amazing.
Yeah, and then the boy, sorry, can we just say like the end scene before we get into Christmas trees?
Yes.
Where it's the random hotel worker. He's like, what are you doing for New Year's? And then they end up...
And then douchebag boyfriend and hotel manager end up together. It just is... And he's like, I've liked you this whole time. The hotel manager's like, I've liked you this whole time. And douchebag boyfriend is like, okay. And then they both end up together.
Yeah.
It's like everyone needed something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31.
31.
Again, I say it every time. It's hard. There were a lot of trees in this one. But I cannot tell you if I... You know, even when the town square, when they were lighting up the tree... There was that tree, but multiple trees. I think I counted them all. I don't know. There's got to be more than 31.
Well, roughly 31.
This was a tree-heavy movie.
This was a tree-heavy movie. And also, it's a like-heavy movie, because I put 5 in my list.
That's crazy. I put 3, so that's
know.
good. You go.
I love The Lodge. The Lodge is so cute.
That's what I said too.
It's just, and even when they decorate it for Christmas, it's so just adorable.
Yeah.
It's adorable. I really liked the stopping of the kiss moment in case she was with someone else.
That's nice, yeah.
I think that was right. I wrote Dad getting shit done.
Yep.
Dad was so good in this movie. He wasn't problematic. He just was like, this is my job and I want to work with you. I want you to be here.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't more, you need to work. She could have not worked forever.
It wasn't like a dysfunctional relationship.
He just more wanted to spend more time with her. And I really liked the sweetness of the community spirit at the end. I was like, why didn't this happen earlier?
Yeah,
but
that's
it
true.
was nice. And I love, because I'm a 90s kid, bloopers at the end of movies.
Yeah, you don't often see that
not
at
on
all.
Netflix or streaming services
No.
anymore. It was always a special feature.
Yeah, I wonder if like Lindsay was like, there must be bloopers at the end.
Thanks, Lindsay. What were your 3?
My first one was I'm glad Lindsay Lohan got back into acting and kind of like, in a way, I will say, redeemed herself a bit, because things were a bit rocky for a while, and you know, it was just good to see her back at it again. Acting choices were interesting sometimes, but it was good to see her again. And then I said Cord was great too. I don't remember him being particularly good in Glee. He was
like everyone else in Glee.
But this was good, and I liked his character, and it just felt like normal acting. I don't know. And then The Lodge was really nice, and even though the decorations were over the top, it was just, I would stay there. 100%. I would stay there over the heiress
one any day.
Whatever. The Sierra, no, the Belmont.
The
Belmont, yeah.
Yes.
So they're my 3 things.
Amazing.
I have seen your score.
Yes. I think this is fine though, on an average.
Yeah, I think I see your note about how you've watched it multiple times and you would watch it again. Yeah. I probably would watch it again, but like mainly probably with Mum. Yeah. Just as like background noise and because you have to maybe, but I would prioritize other movies. Other Netflix Christmas movies first. Even though they're terrible. We'll get to them later in the year. So I gave it a 7 out of 10.
And I gave it a 9 out of 10. This is the 4th time I've watched it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I will watch it again. I will probably watch it every year.
I feel like, okay, now that we've just reviewed Christmas Doctor, I gave it a 5.5, and then this is 7. This is definitely more than a 1.5. I feel
but it's averaging to an 8. And an 8 is more than what we gave the Mistletoe Promise.
Okay.
It's the same as what we put Just Had Romance for.
I mean, I feel like maybe I should give it...
the Always Amore.
Oh, no, I feel like I need to give it an 8.
Give it an 8?
Yeah, I'm changing my score to 8.
8.5.
Yeah. Like, because listening to that list...
Our highest rated movie so far.
Yeah, I would say it's a smidge better than Mistletoe Promise. Mm-hmm. I can't believe we did this a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, we need to go back maybe.
We did Always Amore for, what was it? 7? Yeah. 7.5. That's crazy.
Yeah. But again, like, I think we've watched so many different types now that it's good. And Netflix really, like, picked up the Hallmark tropes and ran with it, but they did it with money.
They did do it with money.
You can tell.
Great. And I love that. I would watch more Netflix ones for sure. And like I have, but they should bring out more. I assume do they bring some out every year?
Yes.
I have no idea. I feel like we should hear by now what they're bringing out this year, but we haven't heard anything.
We haven't, but I'm sure we will. I'm sure it's going to be a sequel to something we've already seen. It's probably like the Princess Switch 37. And I really want...
I can't watch another one of those.
Did you watch Night Before Christmas?
I did,
I really want a second one of those.
Oh, interesting.
Because it had a scene at the end of the credits where it kind of lent into there being a sequel, and then we never got one.
I mean, it's up to Vanessa Hudgens, isn't it, really?
It is, which means we're probably never getting one, but that's okay.
That's fine.
That's it for this epi.
I have nothing to plug.
What?
I mean, I'll say it again. We want to go on this cruise next year. I said it last episode. We just want to go on this Christmas cruise next year. It's a Hallmark one. So help us get there.
Yeah, tell your
Please.
friends about the podcast.
Maybe we'll set up like a... No, that's a bit... You can't set up like a fund. Maybe.
No, we don't need to do that. We'll get there. You can tell your friends and family to listen to our episodes. You can follow us on Instagram at Hallmark Pod.
Cool would it be for us... Sorry to interrupt. For us to like record on a cruise.
Yeah, it would be the best.
Yeah. Anyway,
and not only would we be recording on a cruise, we'd probably be not the only ones recording
yeah,
on a cruise.
Actually be full of bloody idiots just being like, subscribe. So anyway,
so subscribe.
Subscribe to our podcast.
Yeah, you can catch us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I forget YouTube every time, at HallmarkedPod. You can email us at hallmarkedpod@gmail.com.
Yep.
And let us know. Let us know whether you agree with the Netflix originals. If they do it better, worse than Hallmark. We want to hear your opinion.
Yep.
If there's any movies that you would like us to watch, we are more than happy to do it as long as we can access it here in Australia.
Yes.
Next episode, we're thinking of watching The Convenient Groom.
Yes, we are.
Which is available on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
So we will keep you posted on socials.
And we'll go back to fortnitly.
We're going to go back to
just
fortnightly.
for a bit. Just until we'll pick it back up around Christmas time, I think. Hopefully.
We'll see.
We'll see. It depends on how many movies we want to get through.
Truly. And also, I kind of want to review like Elf and Grinch, like not Hallmark or Netflix TV movie ones, to see how non-Hallmark Christmas movies stack up next to Hallmark movies.
True. I mean,
in terms of like, are there tropes that we've never noticed before in
that's
every
true.
Christmas
I mean, I already
movie?
know what I would rate Elf.
10.
Yeah, 10. Like 20 out of 10. To be honest.
150 out of 10 if we're comparing them to
but
Hallmark
yet,
movies.
to look at it
from a Hallmark perspective.
Yes, that's true.
We'll see. Guys, come along for the ride with us. And until then, we will see you in a fortnight.
We'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye.
Goodbye.